baseball fans and history buffs. Welcome to this special presentation of the Big Game James Show, presented by ThinkSlinger.org.
Pitch, swinging a long drive, deep left field, going, let's go!
And now, presenting your most handsome host, Big Game James.
And thank you for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Big Game James Weekend Brief, the show where I reveal and share my notes with you and brief you on the important matches of the weekend. I'm going to get started right away with the Oakland Athletics. Oakland Athletics, ladies and gentlemen. A's get an A for batting average. Not a single Oakland Athletic has left the yard more than once through 10 games. Billy Butler and a handful of others are leading the team with all of one home run. But a whopping 5 regulars, including Butler at 359, are batting 300 or better. As such, the A's have scored 56 runs and have an impressive record. Next up is a 3-game slate with the Kansas City Royals. Watch that matchup this weekend. A's Athletics versus the R Royals this weekend. It's going to be a barn burner. And how about those averages anyway? I can't just kind of, glaze it over. I mean, 5 players on the Oakland Athletics are batting better than 300. I know the season's early, but still, 5 players are batting over 300. That is nuts. That is just nuts, even for the Oakland Athletics. Anyhow, here come the Dodgers. Since starting the 2015 campaign, the Dodgers have won 4 in a row. That is, they started the campaign at 2-3, now they've won 4 in a row. Adrian Gonzalez is batting a ridiculous .528 with 5 homers and 9 RBIs. With Gonzalez on fire and a weekend series against the Rockies coming up, Los Angeles has to be feeling good. They've got to be feeling good, especially if your name's Adrian Gonzalez. In the most recent series between the two NL West rivals, which was last September, the Dodgers swept by a combined score of 23-14. I'm not saying that the same thing is going to happen this weekend, but, the Dodgers are going to bring it to the Rockies this weekend. So keep an eye out for that series as well. And they've got his number. Moving on. Talking about Ubaldo Jimenez as he pays a visit to Fenway Park for a date with the Boston Red Sox. Jimenez gave up only 1 hit and no runs while striking out 8 during his first start of the season, which was a 7-1 blowout of the Toronto Blue Jays last Saturday. Look for him to do a little bit of the same to the Boston Red Sox. I'm going to get more on that Red Sox-O's series coming up here in a second. On to my pitching notes. I'm going to stick with that. I don't have much for pitching notes, but it has. Let's move on to Milwaukee Brewers. It has been open season on the Brewers starter Kyle Lohse in 2015. The 36-year-old is 0-2 with an 11.17 ERA after allowing 18 hits and 12 runs in 9.2 innings. I'm really not going to repeat that. Those are just some sad numbers for anyone. Not surprisingly, Milwaukee is, they're winners when Lohse takes the bump, regardless of those numbers. So it's showing you that the numbers don't always tell the story. They got to play the game still, folks. The veteran's next outing is this weekend at the Pittsburgh Pirates, against whom he went 2-1 with a 4.5 ERA in 3 starts last season. We're expecting pretty much the same thing out of Lohse this weekend. Pirates, Brewers, this weekend. Keep an eye on that one. Hitting notes. The Boston Red Sox, I told you I was going to come back to them. The Boston Red Sox are tied for the major league lead in runs scored with 56. And as of this recording, that is. And they are first in runs per game. Thank you, Hanley Ramirez. The left fielder is batting .278 with 4 home runs and 9 RBIs so far. He very well might improve that. All of those numbers this weekend. No team has gone over the total with more consistency than Boston. It has an upcoming weekend series against my Baltimore Orioles, their AL East rivals, my rivals too, the Boston Red Sox, Baltimore Orioles this weekend. Watch that one. It is going to be spectacular. And on to the San Francisco Giants. This show wouldn't be complete without mentioning something about the World Series champions, right? Well, my question is Is it panic time for the San Francisco Giants? The defending champs are just 3-7 and have crossed the plate only 26 times, which is third fewest in the National League. It's also just barely above what the Houston Astros are doing this season, by the way. Second baseman Joe Panik is hitting just 176, and shortstop Brandon Crawford is right behind him at 152 average. They have combined, yes, I'm repeating it, they have combined for 4 RBIs and 67 at-bats. That is just incredibly disappointing. So, watch the San Francisco Giants this weekend. I think what they do this weekend is going to be very telling of the rest of the season. I mean, they got tons and tons of games to go. Yeah. But this season could be dictated by what happens this weekend with the San Francisco Giants. Keep your eyes on Panik and Crawford. And to answer my question, no, don't panic yet. Wait till Monday. Total streak. Speaking of the Houston Astros, they've scored only 23 runs, and they're tied for third fewest in the entire league. I'm not even going to reveal who's worse, because that is just disgusting. Dallas Keuchel, who happens to be on my fantasy team, has a 1.29 ERA and a 1.07 whip, scheduled to take the mound this weekend against the Los Angeles Angels. Keep an eye out for Dallas Keuchel. He's going to throw a dandy. He's been doing great in his last 11 starts dating back to the last season. You can look up his stats online. I've got to move on to my injury notes. Take note, ladies and gentlemen. Here are your injury notes. New York Mets third baseman David Wright suffered a strained right hamstring while stealing a base on Tuesday and went on the disabled list the very next day. Eric Campbell was called up from AAA Las Vegas to Las Vegas, that is, and is expected to be the Mets' everyday third baseman while Wright sits out. In 8 games with the veteran All-Star, New York was 5-3. I'll let that sit in for a second. So Eric Campbell has some big shoes to fill, and he's going to be there for quite a while at third base. So keep your eye on the Mets this weekend. Let's kind of see how the injury of David Wright comes into play. The Kansas City Royals started the season on fire, and the Royals with Alex Rios were 7-0. He's batting .321, 1 home run, 8 ribbies in the lineup, and they are 0-1 without him. They will have to get used to Rios being absent, though, because the right fielder sustained a fracture in his left hand on Monday, and he's expected to miss 3 to 6 weeks. That's quite a while, ladies and gentlemen. So my picks for the weekend, Baltimore Orioles, Boston Red Sox. We got the Oakland A's and the Kansas City Royals. Keep your eyes on the Mets. And we got Houston and the Los Angeles Angels going at it. Pay attention to those games. Those are my interesting picks of the weekend. And of course, the most exciting pick goes to Boston and Baltimore. Go O's! And until next week, thanks for tuning in. Those are my notes, and I'll see you next time.